I'm saying goodbye to Mary now. Any last words for me?
Take care.
Take care.
You will always be in my heart.
I look very hungover because I am. So I'm going to turn the camera around. Now I'm getting the bus from Fukuoka to Nagasaki. And it was a pretty convoluted way to get here. I think we went through like 5 different malls and up many different escalators, but time to go. Me and my old friend again, and our adventures. But I've reached Nagasaki, and now I just gotta wait for Fanny to arrive. Hello. Oh, someone just turned around. This is awkward. Anyway, I said I was gonna start filming some of my trip with Fanny, who is here. And right now we are in a bakery. We just had lunch. No, we didn't. We just had breakfast, but I'm like half asleep. I got a bit drunk a couple days ago and stayed out very late doing karaoke. And then yesterday I didn't sleep that well, but I did sleep. So I feel a bit like I'm dreaming. I'm gonna go around Nagasaki today and see some stuff. Well, we've come to Dejima. Do you want to give a little intro to Dejima?
No.
Japanese historian Fanny.
So Dejima was a man-made island built for the Dutch to trade. First in the 16th century, Nagasaki was trading with the Portuguese, the Dutch and the Chinese.
And this is where Castella comes from, right? The
Yes.
Portuguese?
And
yeah.
tempura.
Yeah, and I read this on the Wikipedia page.
So yeah, they basically had them trade in somewhere outside of Nagasaki, but then because of all the Jesuit missionaries and all the trauma with like Christianity, they were kind of like, okay, we need to have the foreigners like in one place. So the Portuguese were banned, they were not allowed to come to Japan anymore, but then they were like, well, we have this man-made island now, so the Dutch can come here. And I think there'd be about maybe 30 people living on this island at all times, and they were not allowed to come out.
We're gonna go in and have a look. So these must have been like Edo Jidai Dutch
Yeah.
buildings.
I think maybe 19th century. They must have like rebuilt them.
I love this artwork. Monument to Japanese-Portuguese friendship. In case you don't know, Castella cake is like a huge fucking thing in Japan. Like you can buy it at every convenience store, it's everywhere. And I was so confused when I first got here. So here's the fan shape of the island, and then this is like the reconstruction of it. What we can't work out though is if you look on Google Maps now, it doesn't look like it's not an island, so it's clearly been built out a bit more.
But yeah, imagine like spending 6 months on this island. Yeah?
We've realized now that it's not like they just created this entire landmass. It's more that it was already a peninsula and they just dug a canal like here and to like separate it off from the rest.
Oh wow.
Construction of Dejima begins 1634.
So Japan was at war for like more than 100 years during the Sengoku period, and then that one guy gets tired of it, Oda Nobunaga, he starts unifying Japan, and then he's murdered, and then his like page or like general continues unifying Japan, and then he goes crazy and dies, and then Tokugawa Ieyasu finishes the job, unifies the whole of Japan, and then that's why we get the Edo Tokugawa period.
Woo!
Woo. The last battle to unify Japan was in 1600, and he was appointed shogun by the emperor in 1603.
What's the difference between shogun and emperor?
Shogun is a military leader, so it's like basically military general. It means like the one who crushes the barbarians. This is like
Nice.
the full title. Shogun is just like short. The emperor was always there, except that he never ruled.
Ah, so he's just like tucked away.
He's a figurehead. He's like your great king.
How dare you? How dare you?
Pretty.
Is this Siebold?
Yeah.
Why is he like
Why is it like this? I don't know.
trapped in the thing? He looks like he's trying to drag himself free. And like
I think
Siebold.
if he had arms, he would be able to drag himself free. So this dude is one of the 2 important Germans that came here, and he was
Not the flora guy, the guy that loved plants and stuff. He's the other dude.
he also likes plants and
Okay.
stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure why he was in the VOC, but he basically discovered some type of like agicide, so hydrangea.
Oh yeah, I love
So
agicide.
he's the hydrangea guy.
He was a resident physician on Dejima. And by the way, Dejima means like the kanji for Dejima is literally exit island. So there's that.
Oh wow, what?
Yeah. It's like de, like deru, to leave, to exit, and then jima, shima is island.
I like that it's
Dejima.
exit island. It's kind of like you foreigners, you better fucking
Yeah, right?
exit. Like you're not. It's not Irijima. It's Dejima. And then they wanted more combats, and then they wanted more, and it just bothered everyone.
Well, yeah, if you go around like sweeping up the people with Christianity.
Yeah. So Tokugawa Ieyasu, who had given the power to his son at this point, he's kind of like worried because he spent his whole life wanting to unify this country, and then the fucking Christians in Nagasaki are like, we want some rights. And one of the lords that he actually like crushed during the battle was a Christian. Now a few lords like daimyo were Christians. So one of them, he went into his castle in Shimabara, and they kind of like had this great like Christian whatever. And the Dutch, they're so fucking clever. They were like, hey Tokugawa, do you want some weapons to help like crush the Shimabara rebellion? So the Dutch were selling weapons to kill Christians, which that's why I say the Dutch were very clever in the way they dealt with like the bakufu, because they were like providing them just enough so they would think, okay, those guys are not enemies, they're just here to trade.
Yeah, but then wait, weren't the Dutch Christians?
Yeah.
So you have like a peaceful Japan, and then you have this Christian uprising. So, well, not uprising, but like
you've probably heard of the. Wait, is it 36 or 26 martyrs?
Yeah.
How do you pronounce
martyrs?
That? Martyrs,
Yeah.
So those were like Christians from the rebellion, I think, that the Tokugawa set as an example. They were kind of like, let's crucify them.
Yeah.
And then people hopefully will stop being Christians and there are other people.
Sure, that worked.
Because they didn't really care about what they believed in. The problem was that the Christians were very like adamant and like spreading the word of God.
Yeah, okay.
Which was a problem, because if you had like come in a natural way and kind of like stayed contained and people would not like bother other people, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have cared that much.
They were not kind to this man. Yeah, Fanny just pointed out that this is the fancy cuisine, and it's like a bowl of rice, and then I don't know what this is.
They have wine. This is all they need.
I think this is what most people think British food is. Like even now, like everyone I meet when I say that I'm from the UK, they're like, and the food is terrible, isn't it? And what do I say to that? I'm like,
You agree? You know?
yeah, it is. You can see from this photograph that it was actually like, I guess, isolated. Because there was sea surrounding it, whereas now there's loads of buildings. I have a question for you, Fanny. Did people shave the tops of their heads?
Yes. So this is a typical like Edo hairstyle called chonmage.
Oh, like this right now. My hair.
Yeah, chonmage was like the norm at the time, and yes, they did shave the what do you call it?
I don't know what you would call this. Whoa.
Pate?
Pate? Paint? I have no idea either. Paint.
Okay, so yeah, this
paint.
is this. They used to shave that.
Wow. Why?
So the legend says that it's because samurai, when they had their headgear, it would like prevent them from like sweating too much underneath. So they would have the chonmage where it looked horrible when it was undone, because obviously they were shaved here and they had super long hair.
But what's interesting is that monks did this. So you have this weird parallel that comes from two different, like old,
like
super old
European
medieval
monks.
monks would shave to be closer to God. Because if you had like no hair on the top of your head, you were like closer to God. And then it's the same sort of thing happened here.
Yeah, so they wouldn't leave it open, so they would like shave it and then have the long hair, and then they would like tie back their hair, and then they would like use perfumed oil and like nice stuff to kind of like have it stick together, and then make this little like thingy on top of their head. So you can see here, well, those are like freaking tiny, but they have like this little like thing. So this would like go on top of their heads. And apparently it was to prevent them from being too hot.
Cool. I mean, I don't think these guys are in any danger of overheating based on the loincloths. Fanny just said that there is some person in Tokyo that can give you that old hairstyle.
I think there are multiple like hairdressers that can chonmage the shit out of your hair.
I would do that. I've decided for £1,000. So if anyone is willing. She's not happy.
Braving the fears for history.
So these are 1800s dictionaries, like translation dictionaries. So the first vaccination in Japan was in 1849, and it was actually conducted on dejima to stop the spread of smallpox. We've come to like a veggie restaurant because I feel like my body's broken right now.
Where does it
I
come
got
in
a
bread
veggie
and
curry. I really like the rainbow pattern of this tram. We're gonna go to the hypercenter of the atomic bomb explosion and then walk through the Peace Park and go to the museum as well. Look at the momoji here. So beautiful. So that's 2,000. The total sum of how many nuclear tests or bombs have been discharged is over 2,000. These are like tiny candies, which they're like mochi inside. Really weird, but they also taste like alcohol.
Can they always have alcohol?
Oh, really? Fanny wanted to come to Loft, which is like, to me, it looks like, look your hands. This is like a crazy shop where you can buy literally anything. This is like a bread character. It says Pandorobo, bread robber. I actually really like this as a jumper slogan.
To a place called the El Filo, and then I panicked. So they like pour the nihonshu up until it overflows into the little box, and then you drink from. Once you're done drinking your glass, you drink from the box.
We came to 7-Eleven and I'm buying this Oishi yogurt drink for night sleep. It is 9 a.m. Fanny and I have dropped our suitcases at the hotel and we're gonna go right at the cafe we went to yesterday.
Which is
We're going to the Seabald Memorial Museum for Fanny. I sort of just remembered that it's actually Christmas, you know? I think he was very lucky to live there. Why do you think he's so, like, celebrated here if he broke the law and got kicked out for stealing plants?
I think Japanese people really like. Oh my god, there's a cat! People! So I think because he was one of the pioneers in, like, you know, exporting Japanese things to Europe.
It says here that he, as a doctor, taught many students sort of the ideals of Western science and modern medicine. And then many of his students went on to play a key role in Japan's modernization. So actually that makes sense that he would be celebrated for that. And hydrangeas.
sad.
That is an unfortunate looking sun.
Daughter, that's the Ine, that's the first physicist, female physicist. I think it was the traditional hairstyle for little girls.
Like shaving the top of the head. What?
You know, little boys, they had like their whole head shaved except for the fringe.
What? What were your thoughts on the Seabold Museum?
On the museum or on Seabold?
Both.
Okay, I really like the museum. I think it's well explained, but it's clearly targeted for Japanese audience because there's not a lot in English.
Yeah, that's true.
But in terms of content, I think it was such a lovely overview of his life and of his like descendants and legacy.
I also really liked it. I had no idea about Seabold before Fanny spoke about him, and he had such an interesting life. Like, he really integrated into Japan during a time where there supposedly should not have been any foreign presence, and brought Western medicine in many ways to Japan, like sparked that off. So yeah, it was really interesting to hear about him and his daughter, who was the first female doctor like of Western medicine in Japan, which is amazing. And she became a midwife. Is an obstetrician,
Surgeon gynecologist, basically.
yeah, which is amazing. We just ran for this train.
At least it has nice seats. So much fun. I love that.
Found a train called Sweet Train. But we've reached the bus stop. I love that some streets in Japan just have music. So we just went to the supermarket and we bought quite a lot of ingredients. This is our place, by the way. And then we got here and there were no cooking utensils whatsoever. And we were like, we're fucked, we're fucked. So we opened the wine and we started drinking, and then Fanny finally found there was a little card and it was like, hey, you can borrow like a frying pan and stuff from reception for 500 yen. So we've been saved. Chef Fanny, talk me through your process.
Well, there's no process, it's just massive food.
We just booked a it looks like we just finished after like a crazy bout of lovemaking. I don't know why the fuck I said it like that either. Who says bouts of lovemaking? That's really weird. Anyway, we've just booked a random hostel in Aso where we want to go tomorrow, but we can't get there with any public transport.
Asshole.
What I've been trying to say is that we just booked, and now we have to find a way to hitchhike there tomorrow.
Can we go there?
What the fuck? Wait a minute. Aso Cuddly Dominion. What the fuck is going on there?